Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth. Welcome to another edition of Triad Today. Coming up later, our infamous roundtable gets together. We'll get into all sorts of controversies there, so stay tuned for that. But between now and then, some great guests and information coming your way. For one thing, we'll have a discussion about how to have a healthy relationship. We'll do that. Plus, we'll talk about scholarships that are available through the good folks at Crumley Roberts. And we'll talk to David Mounts about a big analytics forum that's just around the corner. All that's coming and much more. But first, we're going to start out talking about banking. And my three guests are all involved with a great new venture. I want you to meet them right now. On the first guest next to me, you might recognize from having played basketball, an all-star Wake Forest basketball in the 70s. They retired his number, but not him. He's not retired. Skip Brown, Chairman and CEO of Community Bank of the Carolinas. Next to him, Jim Monroe, CFO of that fine organization, and Eric Morrison brings up the rear. He's the Chief Lending Officer. Guys, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Make a good team. You know, Skip has to have a team around him, Eric and Jim, because, you know, he... now, Skip, let me start with you. What attracted you to the world of banking? You come out of basketball, you're a big superstar. What banking experience do you bring to this new venture?
Well, Jim, I was exposed to banking at a very young age by a childhood mentor over in my hometown in East Tennessee. And so I'd heard about banking, heard about buying and selling banks and starting banks at a very young age. And so when I got to college, and the mentor and I still had connections, and so we talked a lot about a career. And so after being exposed to it for the number of years that I was, it was a natural fit just to try to give that career chance.
That's great, and you're good at it. And Jim, let me go to you on this. What is, for people that don't know, and maybe there is a special definition, I don't know, what is a community bank?
Well, Jim, the technical definition has to do nothing with size, but in reality, a community bank is designed to have the community invest in it, to have the community, those same investors, be customers of that bank. So it's a cooperative effort to facilitate growth within the community and business within the community.
Eric, I can answer this question myself because it's a thorn to me, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Why do we need a community bank? Because I'm shaking my head. I know we need a community bank. You tell us why.
All right. You know, in the last 36 months, there's been mass consolidation in the triad of banks. And we no longer have a community bank in our market. So right now, there is no bank that focuses on the small business. As the banks get larger, their target audience, you know, those size businesses get larger. And so it leaves out the most important segment of our community, the small business owners, because they employ 80% of the workforce. And so our total focus is going to be on small business owners, their families. You know, that's going to be who we bank and who we want to bank. And that's why we need it.
That's great. Now, Skip, what will you be able to provide the same kind of services as a big bank, and what would you provide that they don't? So it's sort of a double-edged question.
Right. Well, banks are, from a product standpoint, it's pretty much the same. We all have the same products. It comes down to service, and a community bank behaves very differently from a service standpoint to some of the big banks. The big banks have their niche, but the community banks can provide a personalized experience that the big banks just can't provide.
Jim, now you guys, I'm going to put you on the spot. Is this going to be something where you start it and it's great and it's successful, and then you turn around and get a phone call from Skip that says, hey, we just sold the community bank? Is that going to happen?
That's probably not going to happen. There are three things that can happen in the life of any organization. You can be sold as one of them. You can also continue to grow. You can acquire other banks, and you can merge with them. And our plan is to become a service-oriented financial institution that continues to grow and continues to help communities.
Now, Eric, a lot of us are looking forward to where this is going to be and when it's going to open, but as an investor, now if I want to invest in this, what do I do? Call you, call Skip, call Jim, call my broker? How do you do that?
Yeah, start with us. We have an investment banker on site, but you can start the call with any one of us. There are different ways you can invest. Through IRA, through cash, you know, traditional cash investment. So, you know, to call us, or go to our website, any different avenue you want to go.
So people can still get in on the ground floor of actually owning part of the bank that they're that's going to service the community. I just think that's great. Now, this might be putting all of you on the spot. Skip, does anybody know when you hope to open or anything? Or
well, we are hoping to get open in the spring of 2019.
Okay. Up on screen, I want people to see this. My Community Bank. And that's cbc.com, and that stands for Community Bank of the Carolinas. Please check that out, and for the radio audience in WSJS, check that out as well. And to Skip and Jim and Eric, thanks for all you're doing. We really need what you're doing.
Thank you very much for having us.
We'll be right back after this. Triad Today, and glad you stayed with us. I have a lovely guest who dropped by, and we're always glad when she can. Next to me, Kimberly Roberts. She's Vice President of Marketing and Brand Management for Crumley Roberts Attorneys at Law. Married to that great Chris Roberts,
Yes.
also in the family. You keep it in the family. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thank you.
I know you don't go around bragging on yourself, so I'm going to try to do some of the bragging on you, but you have so much going on. You have a foundation. You have all these things going on. Why are you guys so big in community service?
Well, we've talked about it before. At Crumley Roberts, we truly believe that we were put on this earth to help other people. And we are constantly looking for new ways that we can stand up for our clients, for each other as employees, and for others in the communities we serve and beyond. So Little Red Jumpsuit Tour is an extension of that, and I'm excited because it's a totally woman-facing program, and Crumley Roberts agreed to this at a time when we weren't even having the conversations that we're even having today. So
Right.
It's pretty exciting to me.
Yeah, and I want to mention some of the other things too that the company's doing, but let's stay with this about the Little Red Jumpsuit Tour. Really, the whole initiative there started because you had a concern for women overall, well-being, physical, mental, emotional, the whole thing, right?
I really do. I'm one of those women who really has a true love and affection for other women. And I believe in a world where it seems like we're being torn down some of the time, we need to lift each other up. And I had made some small changes in my overall health and wellness that I felt like really added up to a really big difference in the end. And I wanted to share that because I think as women, we have such big and caring hearts that a lot of times we don't do enough to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, women are nurturers by nature. It's a hard thing to say, nurturers by nature, but you're right. You put yourself last a lot of times instead of first. But let me ask you now, as an offshoot from your concern about this, you don't just talk about it. Now you develop, there's foundation, there's a boutique we're going to get to in a second. Proceeds going to that, and scholarships.
Yes, and I'm really excited about that because what I was finding when we were going out on tour, and I was touring with a great group of women, including your wife, right. Pam, at the time, and we were talking about life and writing the story of your own life. We were talking about results, getting the results you want in life, and what relationships help you get there, and what relationships don't help you get there. We were talking about finding joy, not only just in the grand scheme of things, but actually in the moments,
right.
Finding joy in the moments of our lives. And then we talked a lot about tomorrow and the fact that the windshield is so much larger than the rearview mirror. And so whatever we do, we need to continue to move forward. And so it was that moving forward part that really brought the foundation to mind. I wanted to give girls and women of all ages a next step on their journey. And so these educational scholarships, they allow that.
Really doing that.
Yeah.
And they can. We'll put up a website in just a minute so you can see that. But the boutique that you started is in High Point. It's in the Heron Village, and it's a great boutique. And when people buy things, a lot of the proceeds go what to this?
Yeah, 20% of the profits from the Red Effect Boutique go to the foundation. It was very important to me that we keep this a public foundation so that we could have lots of people who are supporting women, and so we could help a lot of people. So Crumley Roberts has been really wonderful to donate and sponsor the foundation, but I wanted another way to do that, and so I opened the Red Effect, and as I said, 20% of the profits go to the foundation. So it really is a women helping women.
I just think that's great. Let's put this up on screen. The Red Effect Boutique, Heron Village, High Point, and the website has its own website. TheRedEffect.com is up on screen. Also want to put the general website for Crumley Roberts up there, CrumleyRoberts.com. And I don't want to, and we have a few seconds left, and I want to make sure that I brag about one other thing. Even though the scholarship season is over for the Crumley Roberts scholarships, I know we're talking about the scholarships for women and girls, but these guys do a great job with scholarships for high school seniors who want to go to college and for community college students who want to take the next step of their lives to go to university. And those will be coming up later in the year. We'll keep you posted on that. But just do so much fine work, Kids Zone and kids safety initiatives. Thanks for all you do in the community.
Thank you, Jim. Thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much.
We'll be right back after this. On Triad Today, whenever there's a big event coming around, I like to warn everybody, hey, there's a big event coming, and it is. It's not too far away. It's called the Inmar Analytics Forum. There's one man who can tell us about that and give us all the scoop, and he's here with us right now. Next to me, David Mounts, Chairman and CEO of Inmar. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks, Jim. Good to see you.
Good to see you. The 2019 Inmar Analytics Forum, as I said, just around the corner. before we get into it too deeply, tell me, what are the dates and where is it going to take place?
March 25th to the 27th, right here in downtown Winston-Salem. We'll be using a number of venues, and those details are all on the site. We're going to be talking about how digital transformation is impacting all of us.
Yeah, but you sent me an email, or Shannon, one of you sent me an email recently that said the forum is getting huge. Last year there were this many people, we didn't expect this many people. Now, my question is, I know you're not out on the streets every night saying to people, come on to the forum. There's some increased interest in the digital world. I mean, what's happening?
Well, in the year 2020, you will have more conversations with chatbots than you will your spouse. Social media is influencing more than 90% of the purchasing decisions that we make today. So everyone in business has got to embrace this digital transformation. They've got to be ready for it, which means that we all have to continue developing ourselves professionally, and we also have to help our organizations develop. And the Analytics Forum has become very popular and has been growing every year because that's exactly what it does.
Now, why don't you give a plug for some of the top flight speakers that you have? I know we don't have time to go every single one, but give me a few examples.
Well, one of the biggest keynotes is Andre Moret. He heads Google Analytics. He's also an adjunct faculty at NYU.
Okay.
And he's viewed as one of the world's experts on what's happening in the digital arena with food and beverage. And he's very knowledgeable on CPG space. And so we're very excited about having Andre in as the keynote.
Okay.
And then we're going to have Omar Johnson, who used to be the VP of Marketing at Apple.
That's right.
And then for Beats, the headsets by Dre. And so he's going to be coming in. And then Jeff Fromm, who's the president of FutureCast. And Jeff is really an expert in consumer trends. He's going to be talking about how consumer trends are changing and how digital is impacting that.
Well, what do you hope that the people who attend, what do you hope that they take away from this forum?
Well, I want them to learn the latest ways that we're using analytics and that we're using those to operate our businesses better. It helps us engage with consumers better, helps us engage patients better if we're in the healthcare space.
Sure.
Helps us run our business and operations more efficiently, and it helps us to find ways to deliver more value in every aspect of our business.
And just so people know when they're watching, we're not just talking about giant industries like Enmar that you run. This could apply to small businesses.
This applies to all businesses. It also applies to nonprofits. Remember, we do this in conjunction with Wake Forest, so we're going to have their faculty in. They're going to be doing some great breakout sessions like it's a bad time to be boring in retail. They're going to be talking about what do we do with all this data? What are the best ways to manage the amounts of data which continually increasing? And I think this is an opportunity to come together with other professionals who are solving similar problems and walk away with the skills you need to handle them.
That's really not. Now, is there a fee to attend this?
There is. There's a fee, but we've got an early bird special. So if you get registered by February 15th, you can take advantage of that, and it is a great value.
Up on screen, Enmar Analytics Forum, March 25th through the 27th. I want you to put that in the back of your mind there so you'll know it, and take advantage of the early bird special. Now, to register and or for more information, you can visit this site, www.enmarforum.com. For our radio listening audience, I'll say it again, enmarforum.com. We have a few seconds left. Since you mentioned Wake Forest, do I understand that you can even get some continuing ed credit for some of these?
You can. You get continuing ed credit as part of this program. So for professionals that need that, it's a great way to come and get very valuable continuing education from the forum, network, and get your credit.
David Mounts and the Analytics Forum. It's going to be a big one. We'll be right back after this. Triad Today. I'm always glad when we can talk about my alma mater, even though they don't claim me, UNCG that is. Next to me is somebody who's going to talk about healthy relationships, and that's something we can all benefit from. Here she is, Dr. Christine Murray. She's a professor in the Counseling and Educational Development Department at UNCG School of Education. Welcome to the show, Doc.
Thanks so much for having me here.
Let me first ask you, I know you're director of something called the Healthy Relationship Initiative. What is that?
The Healthy Relationships Initiative is a partnership between UNCG and the Phillips Foundation, and we work with a lot of different community partners to promote happy, healthy, and safe relationships in Guilford County and beyond.
Boy, we all need that. Now, what I want to do, because time gets away from us very quickly, I want to make sure we get a plug in for this big week that's coming up of February 10th through the 16th. A lot of things. I'm going to mention some things, and you just tell me something about it. February 10th is something called Sundays Unplugged. What is that?
Yeah, so on Sunday, our Healthy Relationships Week kicks off with Sundays Unplugged, and that is a partnership with the Greensboro Children's Museum. And actually, every Sunday in February, adults who turn in their cell phone at the front desk at the Greensboro Children's Museum can get free admission to the museum.
Turn in the cell phones. February 11th, outreach for students. I saw an email about that. What do you mean?
So on that day, we'll be working with the UNCG Campus Violence Response Center, and our HRI team will be partnering with them to promote healthy relationships on the UNCG campus to college students.
All right. Now, on February 12th, there's something called infertility training. How does that figure into this whole initiative?
So on February 12th, we've got a professional training for local professionals who work with families and people who are involved in different relationship issues, and it covers the roller coaster ride of infertility.
Okay. Now, February 13th, there's something called the Grandparents Workshop. I want to hear about that. What is that?
Sure, we're really excited about that. That's a new program this year. And so on February 13th, we've got a workshop for grandparents with or without their grandchildren, and the topic is grandparenting in the digital age. And our goal for that workshop is to help grandparents really think about not just some of their frustrations around technology that they may have and seeing how it's taking over their grandchildren's lives, but also how they might be able to be more comfortable using technology as actually a tool to connect with their grandchildren.
That is so cool. And I didn't think about that because I'm technologically stupid. And I thought when you were coming on to talk about healthy relationships, it was all going to be about, your partner, your wife, your spouse, whatever, and how, and yet this is sort of an offshoot because the grandparents want to be more involved in their grandchildren's lives. And that's a healthy relationship if they can relate to them, right?
That's right. So we do say that we promote healthy relationships of all kinds. So of course, couples, families, but also friendships, workplace relationships, and grandparenting relationships.
Exactly.
Too.
Well, my wife and I have a healthy relationship. Each day she tells me what to do, and I do it. I don't know what that. I guess that's a good relate. Now, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, Survival Guide is being released. What do you mean a survival guide?
That's right. So through our website and our social media that day, we'll be releasing a Valentine's Day survival guide. We know some people love Valentine's Day, but there's some other people who are a little skeptical about it and who have a hard time getting through the day, such as if they've recently gone through a breakup or if they're single.
Right.
So we'll be releasing a survival guide that day to help people kind of make the most of that day.
That's cool. February 15th, Healthy Dating. Is that a seminar? What's going on with that?
That is actually a free online relationship program, and we will be speaking with Robin Campbell, who's the director of the Counseling Center at Bennett College. And it's just an opportunity for people to take a little bit of time to learn about healthy dating relationships.
And then finally on February 16th, something called Family Fun Day.
That's right. So Family Fun Day is a partnership with the YMCA of Greensboro. And on that day, at 3 different branches of the YMCA, at Ragsdale, Bryan YMCA, and Spears YMCA, we'll be out, and anytime between 10 and 1, families can stop by and play and kind of learn about healthy relationships and just take the time to celebrate as a family.
Family that plays together stays together,
That's
something
right,
like that.
yeah.
And now I want to get, before we lose this time on this, a couple websites. GuilfordHRI.org will get you to some specifics about this initiative. And then, of course, www.uncg.edu. We have about 15 seconds left. Can you give me one quick tip on how to have a healthy relationship?
Sure. I mean, there's lots of things, and definitely visit our website for lots of tools and resources. But I think the number one thing people can do is just be intentional about building healthy relationships.
Good.
Especially in our busy world, it's important to just make that effort.
That's Christine Murray. Thanks for doing this.
Sure. Thanks again.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today. Before we get to the roundtable, just want to note passing of a lovely lady. Julie Adams died. She was 93 years old. For the younger folks, she was in The Creature from the Black Lagoon and many other things. What a great actress. She was on Triad Today in 2012. She came to town, and we remember her for that. All right, now on the panel today, to my right, but always the political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster, journalist, and next filling in for Keith Granberry, who's wandering all over the world, is Carol Andrews, that great speaker and author, and she does everything except hang around with Don Martin. And next, and Dr. Don Martin is vice chair of the Forsyth County Commissioners, also professor at High Point University. All right, gang, let's get right to it. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. We beat it to death. But last week, a judge denied a request by the Daughters of the Confederacy to delay the city of Winston-Salem from removing the Confederate statue. But the judge said, hey, knock yourself out. Go to court if you want to. What's going to happen in this battle, and what's the best we can hope for? Quickly, Ogie.
Let's just let it die where it is. Let's just move the statue to the graveyard and let it go, just period.
Carol.
Yeah, I don't think anything more is going to come. I think people are now trying to back out and just let it lay.
No suits after the fact, you don't think, Don?
No, I doubt it, and I think the owner has a very important controlling interest, and that would discourage someone from further legal.
All right. Now, speaking of controversial images, this one gets me. The Democratic governor of Virginia first admits that he was appearing in blackface in his college, not just college, in his medical school yearbook in 1984. He's like 25 years old. Yes, I appeared in blackface. Then the next day he says, no, I didn't, but I did appear in blackface as Michael Jackson the same year. This guy is just getting in deeper. Now, earlier this week, we find out the Attorney General in Virginia did the same thing in 1980 in college. Guys and gals, is it enough for somebody when they're caught like that, who they just totally racially tone deaf, is it enough for them to resign or just to say, yeah, I did it and go on? Ogie.
This may surprise you, Jim. Given my misspent youth and sordid past and less than stellar life that I led up to a certain point,
you were
I was
wild.
ready to give the guy a pass. Say, if he owns it, owns up to it, has made something of himself as an adult, I'm willing to let bygones, But then he lied about it. He
Right.
tried to lie out of it, so
Right.
he's got to go, Jim. He's got to go
Carol,
now.
thoughts?
I just think it's another way not to have a conversation. Yes, I think he should resign, but don't push it aside, because there's a bigger challenge there, and we've got to address the challenge of understanding why people would be offended
Yeah.
and how we can grow together.
The why is the big question, right? Okay, Don.
I agree with Ogie on the, once he owned it, I think his 35 years of life experience after that time and the fact that the people of Virginia elected him should stand for something. You could certainly let that go, but then to basically, I mean, do you want those kind of flip-flops occurring on very important issues?
Yeah, we got enough presidential candidates who are flip-flopping as it is, so we don't. All right, once again, the North Carolina General Assembly is considering raising the age for purchasing tobacco products from 18 to 21. Guys and gals, do you think it should be raised, and do you think it will be? Ogie.
No, I don't think it'll do a bit of good. Kids are they're actually starting to quit smoking in their 20s now. They start smoking at 13, 14. A lot of them are starting to quit in their 20s.
That's kind of weird. Carol.
I'd like them to raise the age, but I'd also like them to control that vaping thing, because that's where our kids are getting in the most trouble now.
Some of them getting killed from that.
Yes.
Don.
Well, just from my previous experience in the school district, tobacco use has been going down among adolescents for the last about 15 years. So, I mean, pretty steadily.
Yeah.
So it's not a reason to prevent tobacco future use from that standpoint.
All right, some Democratic congressmen in Washington are suggesting that we no longer use the Bible to swear in elected officials, especially federally elected officials. And they say we shouldn't say, so help me God, at the end of the swearing in. Good idea or bad idea, Ogie?
I think you should use the whatever text that is most precious to you, and that too is a personal opinion. If you want to say, so help me God, do it. If not, don't.
Carol.
I tend to agree with that, but I don't want to see us lose the Bible. I don't mind seeing 10 Commandments up. I don't want to see us lose that, because that's what we were founded.
Yeah, why not having your hand on the Constitution? A book, I don't know. Don.
I mean, as a part of our history for a long time, our country, look at our founding fathers, I'm probably just going to say leave it alone.
All right, meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders told a reporter last week that God wanted Donald Trump to be president. Now, I don't want to get into a lot of arguments here, but my question is this, guys. Do you have a problem with a public employee that we're paying making that statement? Ogie.
I don't know how that woman sleeps at night. I don't know how she looks in the mirror. Just to go out and lie blatantly for this guy every single day. Her and Sarah Lou, or whatever her name is.
Kellyanne or something.
Yeah.
Carol.
I think we just have to agree to disagree with them, and I think there is a First Amendment. I do think we have free speech. She's allowed to say whatever she wants to say. How we take it is another story.
Don, is that crossover
Well,
between...
that's a great point, but I do think that there's not a man or a woman that is speaking for God here, one way or the other.
Right.
Of
Well,
intentions.
when you were superintendent of schools, if you had a teacher or an assistant principal or assistant superintendent invoke God, saying, well, God wanted Don to be superintendent, wouldn't that be a sort of a...
Yes, there'd be a real serious talking about what are you thinking about? I mean,
Yeah.
that's and actually that's one I would expect some apology for.
Okay. Finally, the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, just issued a warning telling us not to kiss or snuggle with a pet hedgehog. because the animal may be carrying salmonella. Guys and gals, have you ever kissed a hedgehog, and do you need the CDC to tell you not to? Ogie Overman.
If you're you got deeper problems than getting salmonella. If you're, I mean, come on.
Carol Andrews.
Have no interest in kissing hedgehogs. I'm just saying,
Never have.
and I don't. Yeah, I
Nowhere in
wouldn't
your
even want to hold
past.
one.
Nowhere in your
I
past.
just wouldn't
did
want
you-
to even hold one.
Don Martin.
Well, no, but I have kissed a pig before, and some school issues.
Why are you looking at Ogie?
If kids do something, you kiss a pig, and I've done it. Big old smooch.
Kiss a pig. Oh my gosh.
But they don't have prickles.
I'm not voting for you anymore.
No, they
I'll
did not
vote
have.
for
They
you.
did not have whiskers. Did not have prickles.
I don't want to hear about it. All right, now that's all.
It was a little wet, however.
Oh gosh, Don, please. That's all the time we have, fortunately, and this is Don's last show.
Did he give you a rose after it?
Oh, except for this. Last week, a Michigan man and his wife were booted off an American Airlines flight because a number of passengers complained about the couple's body odor. Quote, they were really inconsiderate, said the man who brought an onion burger onto the plane. You've seen those, haven't you? I mean, those people are obnoxious when they bring that stuff in. All right, well, that's all the time we have except for Don. He's going to leave here and go kiss a pig, and the rest of us will see you next week.